side of the microphone, from the green light to the speed trap, Ray Garino and Joe D calls them as they sees them, and you better believe them. Here, relevant news, biased opinion, and outright nonsense regarding every aspect of automotive culture. Gasp! With mechanical trickery never before broadcast over FCC-regulated airwaves. Thrilled to the explosive tension as Ray and Joe cuss each other down track, barrel roll across the finish line, laughing at certain disaster as they shake hands with the devil. All that and so much more at high noon this Sunday on the Motormouth Radio Hour. Call in and speak live with the Wizards of Speed and the Live Feed, Ray Garino and Joe D. Bring the whole family. Kids under 12 get in free every Sunday at noon on WHPC. Take the Hempstead Turnpike to the Meadowbrook Parkway and look for the no parking on the expressway and no express service on the Parkway sign. Go right on Highway 24 to Garden City. $2 all-day parking includes pit pass.
Do you remember back in 1966? Country Jesus, he'll be the blues, that's where I learned my live. From coast to coast and line to line to every county there. I'm talking about that Outlaw X is cutting through the air.
Oh, yeah, I'm talking about that Outlaw X2, and you have the X Factor, Motormouth Radio, Long Island's only...
Heard it on the X.
Yeah, only automotive talk show with your host, Ray Guarino, and his compadre wingman at XO, Joe
Dusty.
D. Dusty Hill, taking up the bass duties over here. Very good, Joe. Yes. We're kicking it off nice, and I just figured we had a little bit of a kick today.
You tell him, Billy.
Yeah, there we go. Actually, I should be Frank.
I know. I was well. You're always frank with me. I don't know.
Yeah, I am. That's true.
Brutally so.
That's other people say that to me too, and I say, hey, you know what? Would you want it any other way?
Well, the truth is good.
This way, you know what you got. You know. So I'll tell you what else you can get. You can get on this show by calling us at 516-572-7440. You can also get with us by following us on social media. Follow us on motormouthradio.com. That's all your weekly stuff. You'll get blog posts. You can sign up for a weekly blog reminder of stuff we covered during the week.
Blog.
Yeah, follow us on Twitter, Motormouth Radio, and Joe's favorite, Instagram, __ Motormouth Radio. We do occasionally put up pictures of stuff we do and things we get involved with at our respective shop jobs that are second jobs for us, but they sometimes become like...
obsessions.
They become the real thing. Yeah, I have a story today, if we get to it, about I had some downtime. I didn't have a job to do in the shop for somebody else, so I brought my own car in.
Oh, the kiss of death.
When do you get to do that? But I started hearing a little bit of a clunk in the front end when I went over a bump, and I said, almost like when a shock, like you go over a bump and the wheel will move, it'll travel, and kind of when the body comes up and the wheel drops down, you hear a bit of a noise. And to me, I usually associate that with the strut, but I'd done struts in this car a while ago. So I wanted to check it out, and I also have a parking brake issue I wanted to look at, but I also have a flashing thing in my head I want to take care of too. So let's do this. Let's go to the phones and the fun and say, hi, you're on with the Motor Mouths.
Hey, guys, it's Jim.
Hi, Jim. What's happening,
Jim, you want to finish the story about my noise?
Actually, I'm sorry. I apologize for interrupting your story about your noise.
No, we'll get back to it later. It's okay.
Well, I just want to make my own noise because I have a leftover assignment from last week. Joe demanded Jim abides. And basically, I just got a really long story that I will shorten as best as I can about how fuses can really mess with you and how you really need to have your own good mechanic.
Okay.
Okay, that's a good topic.
Yeah, one of the things, of course, is I am probably the only car person in my entire family.
Uh-oh.
So basically, I'm always getting the phone calls. Hey, I got a problem with my car, and my first thing I say is, "Well, take it to a mechanic."
You're your own little Motormouth Radio,
or go to Motormouth Radio. Even better. I wouldn't trust my brother with to hold a screwdriver right.
Some people can't fix lunch.
No. So basically, my brother calls me up and says my nephew has a problem with his car, where it's going into limp mode at all kinds of weird times.
Limp mode.
Yeah, so he takes it to his regular mechanic.
What kind of car is this, by the way?
What's that?
What kind of car?
It's a 2003 Saturn L300.
Saturn. Okay, go ahead.
So
Better
he
than
calls
an
me up and
Audi.
he tells me about this, and I'm like, oh, okay, so what have you done so far? And he says, well, I took it to my regular mechanic, and he changed out the...
The thing.
The thing, exactly. Something that, like, okay, that doesn't sound right. Why is he changing the throttle body? Thank you. And without knowing what's going on. So I tell him, hey, the guy's got to download the codes from the computer to find out exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
So he hangs up on me, calls me back, and goes, yeah, he did all that, but he says it's got something wrong, something with the transmission. I'm like, okay, and? Well, he's not sure what it is. Oh, God, really?
Okay.
That's when I was, all right, look, I have a mechanic. Here's his phone number. You go to him. I don't, look, it's not going to be cheap, but it is going to get fixed.
Sounds
He's
like
okay,
we're
fine.
going,
So
to that place, that far and distant
Where no
place.
one has gone before.
yeah, exactly.
Where cars
So
may never come back from? Okay. So what happened, Jim?
So he calls my guy, doesn't like my guy, takes it back to his original guy, who now changes out the transmission module. I'm like, oh, really? Oh, and he puts in a junkyard one to boot.
Okay.
And all of a sudden he says, hey, wait a minute, my ex next door neighbor now works at a place somewhere down in Babylon. I go, okay, fine, let's go to him. So he basically tells him, look, it's going to take some time to figure out what this is. So he leaves it there for a day. Finally, after about 6 hours of troubleshooting Joe style, he finds out that the fuse going to the transmission module was intermittent.
An intermittent fuse. Now, that is an oddball if there ever was one.
Seriously.
Yeah, and I said, look, there was no way, I told my brother, no way in hell I was ever going to find that.
No.
And it looks like no way in hell your mechanic was ever going to find that.
No.
So it's like, bottom line is, first of all, fuses can screw with you, and every single person out there who isn't a mechanic needs to find a good, trustworthy mechanic that they can go to for stupid stuff like this.
Right. And one must be ready to hand over the keys to the car and say, is it going to be done by lunch? No, because it might take some time. Because that'll actually lead into one of my stories. But okay, that's good to know. So what do? You just popped another fuse in there and bang, zoom, we're done?
Yeah, changed the fuse, and the car's been fine ever since.
Wow.
Yeah, but 6 hours of labor later...
Did you frame that fuse?
I did not. My brother probably
I would have that friggin' thing laminated.
The guys
hanging up above my toolbox.
The other guys in the shop know. They know because I do this. And actually, Mike had brought up. He was listening to the show, Joe, where Chris filled in for I was in Tennessee last month, and he heard Chris talking about my propensity for forensically autopsying auto parts.
Right.
I'd want to see that fuse because I'd want to look at it under a loop. I'd want to look under it closely to see if I could see something. I'd maybe put a load on it to see if I could find a little micro arcing. Yeah. And then I'd cut it apart.
Exactly. Well, that's like that Benz fuse. There was like the little tiny crack in it, and nobody knew nothing until we pulled it out and actually looked at it. Stuck a meter on it.
Yeah.
But you're right. You do need somebody who's actually going to engage in like some critical thinking.
Yeah. And my biggest thing is, of course, they do know a lot about cars, but I am not a mechanic, which, of course, is driving me crazy right now because the station wagon is giving me problems, and I got to go look at it later today.
The thing I thought of, Jim, with that problem is, ironically, most of the times what we hear is someone has an electrical problem. I just changed the fuse. Like, well, what did you change the fuse for? Was it bad? No, I figured I'd start there. That's where everybody starts.
Yeah.
So ironically, they didn't in this case.
See?
Which is just
it's always the last place you look.
It is a simple and cheap thing that you can do. So.
The wild, wacky world of auto repair, yeah.
Right.
Well, I've even seen it where the fuse was not the problem. It was the actual female terminal that the fuse
Stop. I was going to say that. Right. Stop.
Too late. I can't help but I think faster. I don't really think faster than you. I think the piece in my brain that makes my mouth go works faster than yours.
Every Sunday morning at noon, you guys get into this mind meld thing.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, well, thank you for letting me tell my tale of woe.
Thanks, Jim. That's a good one.
And let's hear about what goes on with the wagon. Give us a call back at some point.
I will do that because it is one of those weird computer things because all of a sudden the low oil light comes on and turns the car off. I'm like, okay, what the hell?
The low oil turns that's not supposed to happen.
Joe was already doing some diagnostics, so we'll get into that and we'll return to that one.
We'll talk about that,
All right, thank you.
All right,
thanks,
bye.
Jim. Bye. All right. You never know what's going to come down the pike in this show.
Perhaps
and
there should be oil in the car.
Well, right.
Now, knowing Jim, I'm sure it's right up to snuff and so forth.
Yeah. So just to kind of...
you had your noise there.
Yeah, I pulled the front... I looked at the front end, said, okay, I see... I'm going to do the... ironically enough, the right side where I hear the noise, that link looks good, but I can move it a little. The left side, the one of the little boots is cracked, so I'm going to change the pair.
Right.
And then I pulled the calipers, checked the brakes, did all of that, and then I went to the rear to look look at why my parking brake isn't working. I lubed the assemblies, took the right side off, and noticed that the pins, which were in the boots with the plugs on them, so they were out of the elements.
Yeah, nice.
I mean, the front ones came out fine.
Yeah.
The rear ones, they were coming like tight. Just didn't want to come out. And the problem was I only had long drivers at the shop. I had the short ones at home. So I had the long ball end driver and the ratchet in the rear coil spring. So even with my 80-tooth long ratchet, I could only move it about 5 degrees. I'm like, oh, crap. So fight to get it apart. That wasn't the weird part. Try to put it back in. I think I need a caliper is what it is, I think. Or the cable on that side is a little sticky. I couldn't get it out. Now we're getting into like the hour-plus range, and now I just want to put it back together.
Sure.
Those pins were so clean and pristine, no rust on them. So I re-greased them, re-greased the the boots.
Right.
You put the pin in, it should go right in through. It wouldn't. It would go like 3/4. Both of them would go about 3/4 of the way in and stop. And I'm tapping them with a hammer. Nothing. I had to pull them out. I'm looking inside. I'm putting my finger inside. I'm looking with a light. There's no obstructions.
No galling, maybe?
These things were pristine, Joe. I didn't take a picture because I was so full of grease.
Yeah, right.
Like, they're like that polished stainless steel looking kind of.
Yeah.
Not even like sometimes you get that like shadow of a like a darker color on there.
Yeah.
Not even that.
Maybe a smidge bent?
I don't know how they could have bent because they go through the caliper, right into the caliper bracket.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make any sense. I'm just thinking what things that would make it not fit like.
I don't know. So that took me the better part of 2 hours to get them in. And, a big pair of pliers, pulling them. I feel, let me just get one thread. I'm down to using an Allen key. I guess the takeaway from this is, now I had done those brakes in my driveway the last time at home.
Yeah.
And it went fine. So I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking, what if you are the weekend mechanic at home trying to do this and you face this? Your car's being towed somewhere Monday morning.
Hello, Mr. Flatbed?
Yeah, you ain't going to get this together.
Right.
And I'm on a lift, so I'm moving the car up, down, any position I want.
Right,
so I can stick my head in there,
Sure.
And I'm still hitting a brick wall every time. And I said, geez, now I know why people get turned off to doing work on their own cars because, and of course, I'm thinking about like, okay, if this was a shop job and a customer, how do you bill for that? I mean, that's kind of hard to bill that time when it just.
You get a caliper.
I know.
It.
Yeah.
You got about 10 minutes, and then the tech, the mechanic is going to go over to the boss. I need a caliper to this stupid thing over here. I can't get it back together.
Yeah.
Give me a caliper. I'm going to go get coffee.
I actually want to order one up just to like a loaded caliper, just to see if those pins would slide. Yeah. And I was going to check the other side, but I didn't dare go to the other side.
Sorry, we ain't got it.
So when you work on your own car, that's what happens. Sometimes you get back-ended. So I think we have a couple of songs today that may actually help illustrate that. Coming up on our first break, we'll have one.
Sure.
But the other thing I was thinking of is like, good parts store up on Old Country Road. And I remembered that, hey, you know what? You can listen to Old Country Road on this station Sundays at 8 p.m. tonight. Hosted by our good friend Michael Anthony. He knows how to do a country show. This is the classic country music show, which showcases interviews and legendary artists and the real good old country music. So tune in tonight at 8 for that.
The real stuff. Yeah, that's definitely cool. Yeah, noises under a car these days are they're just tremendous. Like one thing I also want to point out, although it's not really so much a Mazda thing, it's a lot on GM cars. You hear a lot of like clunks, bangs, clunks, whatever. And you get under the car and you don't see anything, because the sound of them, like my red Cavalier, is like, Mighty Cavalier Mark II. That makes some pretty nasty noises when I drop it into gear, and like training mount's okay, all kinds of stuff. What I found out, there was a couple TSBs not related to that car exactly, but just kind of poking around, bushings like in the control arms and stuff.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you'll never see it. You could be hanging off of them things with a 3-foot pry bar. You ain't seeing nothing. That's where a drive-on lift, or a lot of bravery, and somebody you trust dropping it into gear. Ground.
Right. No, you're right.
Yeah, and you see the thing jump.
I was talking about that just a while ago, about an issue where a car, you put it in gear and it clunks. And I said, any of the motor mounts, any of the tranny mounts, they're all suspect.
Anything that's under a load when you, drop it into
and then
gear.
I did say, just like you did, you can't always tell by looking. And even this problem with my car, I'm not 100% sure that I found the problem. And just like I had the same problem years ago in the rear left of the car, and it ended up being a sway ball link.
Right.
But I had to wait. I have this weird ability to hear things at the onset, which is more of a curse than anything, because you look for it, you can't find it. Yeah, I explained to Mike. I said,
Deafness is a curse sometimes. That's what I
sometimes,
find.
yeah, sometimes you have to wait
Huh?
for a